evening, friends, and welcome to the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. My name is Janet Leslie, and I'm pleased to serve as the coordinator for the Joseph S. Murphy Scholarship for Diversity in Labor. And this evening, I'm also going to serve as your MC. Yay! This is the first time we're holding our Diversity Scholarship Awards since the newest school, we became the newest school in CUNY. And I'm grateful that you are all a part of this special occasion. Tonight, we will meet our 2019 scholarship recipients. Yes. In addition, we have two extraordinary rising leaders who will be honoring, and shortly, you'll be hearing from a very special guest speaker. One quick note, while I know that many of you have your mobile devices, because I have mine too, and I know that you're going to be wanting to take pictures, we want to ask you to please silence your phone, okay? If you can just silence your phone now. You can still take pictures with it, as you all know, if it's silenced, okay? And I know you're going to be wanting to paste your pictures to Facebook and to Twitter, Instagram. When you do that, will you please use the hashtag SLU Rising, SLU Rising, okay? And so I'd like to ask everyone to please join me as we start the program, and I'd like you to join me in welcoming our founding dean of the new school, and he'll tell you a little bit more about the unique scholarship and what has made it such a massive success. This is our 6th cohort of students. And so I'm going to welcome now to the podium Dean of the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies, Greg Mancios.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's award celebration. A few hours ago, when I saw the torrential rains coming down, I was beginning to think we ought to offer anybody who showed up tonight an award. I'm glad it cleared up, and I'm glad to see such a full house. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience. I also see a lot of new faces. Those of you who are here for the first time, can you raise your hand? Okay, quite a bit. Thank you. So let me then take the opportunity to welcome you. Welcome the awardees, the emerging leaders, the labor leaders, the vendors, the employers, friends and colleagues. There are a number of people on our advisory board who are here. I want to recognize Arthur. I saw Debbie Buxton somewhere here. I saw Barbara Edmonds over here. I know I'm going to Mei Chen over there. I know I'm going to be in trouble by missing a few people, but forgive me in advance. I want to recognize Gary LaBarbera, the president of the Building Construction Trades Council, for being here. But for those of you who are here for the first time, I just want to take a few minutes to tell you about us and about tonight's event. This is the Joseph S. Murphy Scholarship. It's named after a former chancellor of the university, somebody who was a great, great advocate and champion for workers and poor people in this city, in the country, and actually throughout the world. He was quite an internationalist. Many of you know us as the Joseph S. Murphy Institute for Worker Education. And we carried that name for a number of years. We've been around a long time. Janet mentioned that we were, the new school, but we have quite a bit of history. We go back 35 years as a very tiny program at Queens College. There are two people in the room, Iris DeLutro and Mustafa Chisti, who I was just talking to, were there from day one, and May Chen, who was there from day one. We go back a long time. But what was very special about this year and this event is that this is the first time we are here as a new school. We went from being an institute to a school. A lot of hard work went into getting us to this point. A lot of people in this room who spent countless hours advocating on our behalf in the halls of Albany and in halls of City Hall and in the university. A lot of letters, a lot of pressure, a lot of testimony on the part of our union allies and elected officials who made this happen. And of course, a lot of work on the part of the faculty and staff of the school, or then institute, to get us to have us emerge as a school. What's so special about being a school? Couple of things. This is not just a school within a college. It's a self-standing school. It's a CUNY school, which makes it the 25th unit of the university. It has the same standing as a college. So this is a huge accomplishment in and of itself. But what's really special is that this is a school that was established with the specific purpose of serving, the public interest and the public interest in social justice. So this is what brings all of us together as a school, and what brings us all together here tonight. We established this scholarship precisely because we believe that it's important that that labor leadership in this city, and even more importantly in the country, reflect the composition of the workforce. We also believe that it's critical that labor scholarship be diverse. And so this scholarship was established to encourage young people to enter into the labor movement, become social. Most of them, you'll see, our awardees are all social justice activists. What we want to do is encourage them to become activists within the labor movement, and also to pursue labor scholarship. So some of our students are activists, some of them are scholars or aspiring scholars who we want to encourage to pursue their degrees in a labor-related academic discipline. The scholarships are not insignificant. They're $20,000 to $30,000 apiece, and they are designed to attract really very talented people from all over the country. And as you'll see, I hope I'll get to it in a minute, but I hope you look at your program and see who our students this year are. I am very pleased to announce that the new chancellor, we had a new chancellor appointed, I guess, 3 weeks ago. His name is Felix Matos Rodriguez. He was a former president of Queens College. He's been around for a long time. He's a great friend of the program. And one of his first actions as a chancellor was to re-up the matching grant that the university provides for this particular scholarship. So we thank him very much. The way this works is the university provides $100,000 a year as long as we match it, and every year all of you around this room have been generous enough to provide the funding to support that. So $100,000 from the university, $100,000 from everybody around here and beyond, and that's how we wind up giving not only $200,000, but it's actually, we surpass the target every year. So it's almost $250,000 a year that goes out to students committed to their studies and social justice. You see around the tables names of some of the really big sponsors. We thank all of you. There's some table, and some of you are sitting at tables that were bought by our sponsors. I want to give a special shout out to CWA, the international and the local, and the region every year, and their vendors who come out, and you're going to hear about the vendors from Arthur in a minute. But every year, and Arthur in particular, who is on the phone and buttonholing people all the time about this scholarship. This would not be the success it is without Arthur's determination and passion for this scholarship program. I want to recognize SEIU, the International, Local 1199, 32BJ. Together, those three organizations, they're part of the same family, but they gave us, they donated an extraordinary amount, especially this year. You'll see, again, they've named a scholarship, as did CWA. Others around the room, DC 37 and Local 371. Great sponsors there. Are you in the room? Are you in the house? Thank you. Thank you. I also want to recognize CSEA, PEF, and all the generous donors. And please take a look at the journal. You'll find those who have supported us listed there. I can't thank all of you enough for your support. While I'm thanking people, I want to thank first and foremost Rose and Perato. I cannot possibly overstate the breadth and the depth and the scope of the work that she puts into this every year. It is just amazing, and it's always a success. It's always from soup to nuts. She tomorrow she'll start working on next year's scholarship, in addition to all the other things that she does around here. Janet Leslie, our MC, and guiding light to our students. I met the students, our students awardees, for the first time tonight, and already they're raving about Janet, and they haven't even gotten to know her yet. I mean, she is the mother hen. I don't know if is that all right to say, the mother hen of this program. Lots of other people to thank: Nellie, Kitty, a whole bunch of people are in the room here. I can't name you all, but please, those of you who are here, please take a look at the program and you'll find their names. Thank you all. So if our faculty and staff are the soul of this institution, and the labor partners and their allies are the backbone of the institution, it's really the students who are the heart's blood of everything we do here. And I can tell you about our student population in general, but I won't want to do that because tonight we're here to recognize and to celebrate and to encourage our awardees. Tonight's cohort is truly, truly extraordinary. I urge you, I've urged you already plenty of times to go into that journal, but I'm going to do that once more because I really think you should read the short bios. And these are just snippets of their applications and their accomplishments. But what you'll find is that our awardees tonight come from really all over the world. This is the most diverse group we've ever had. The Dominican Republic, Ghana, Mexico, Nepal, Tibet, and even the Bronx. Yeah, the Bronx. Yeah. All of them have a very rich background in social justice activism. They've been union organizers, community organizers, tenant organizers. They've worked with garment workers, laundry workers, domestic workers, street vendors, nail salon workers, gas station attendants, low-wage workers of every kind, and many of them have been in those jobs, and that's what led them to the work that they're doing now. They've worked on voter registration drives, on electoral campaigns. They founded anti-violence organizations, immigrant rights groups. They participated in Occupy. You know, their resumes, you know, their list of accomplishments as social justice activists, you know, are as long as my arm. If you want, you know, to be encouraged about today, despite everything that's going around us, read those bios, and you'll see what I mean when I say that they're extraordinary. And also some incredible hardships that that people have overcome to get to this point. We have a dreamer amongst us, a single mom with 6 children. We have another student who is went through the horrors of civil war and then spent time in a refugee camp in Liberia. These are heartwarming stories to see what people have overcome, and most importantly, their passion for change and for justice. As I said to them earlier, we're delighted to have you all here as part of our student group. We know you're going to make us proud. And I said, we have complete confidence that they will make this world a better place. Not to put too much pressure on them, but we expect nothing less from them. I haven't said anything about our Emerging Leader Awards. And I'm not going to do that because we have a couple of videos. But the 2 individuals we will recognize tonight, Lorella Pariella and Santos Rodriguez, these are 2 people not only who I think our students should aspire to, but who I aspire to. You have quite remarkable stories, and I think we can all learn from your accomplishments and your inspiration, not only to our students, but to all of us. And you're just getting started. I mean, that's the incredible part. Finally, I want to speak about a former emerging leader, somebody who we recognized as a rising star when we first started the Diversity Scholarship Program. Bhairavi Desai here is a founder of and executive director of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. It's hard to imagine anybody who has more passion for her work or more compassion for the workers that she represents than Bhairavi. She started the union with 700 members. It is now 21,000 members strong. Amongst its achievements, the union won a livable income raise, established a health and disability fund for taxi drivers, the first of its kind in the nation. I can go on and on. We all know what a sea change is going on in that industry, and Bhairavi and her members have a huge challenge ahead of them, and we want to be as supportive as we can. I just also want to mention that here at SLU, Bhairavi has been a long-time supporter and participant in the school's activities. And we have learned from her wisdom and her experience. She's a true champion of workers and a dear friend of the School of Labor and Urban Studies. Please join me in welcoming Bhairavi Desai. Thank you.
everybody. Thank you so much, Greg, for those kind words. I love being in this space. Everybody knows that the Taxi Workers Alliance, we used to have our 1 a.m. night driver meetings in this very hall, so I feel very nostalgic every time I'm here. I remember in 2007, we had just gone out on strike, and we had a post-strike meeting a couple of weeks later, and we had over 600 drivers. I came in and out of this space from like 1 to 4 in the morning. And you could call up any staff member at the Murphy and say, we need an emergency meeting. And not only would they arrange the space for us, but they would rearrange their own staff schedules to be here, in the middle of the night for us. So that really for us is who this school is. They're not only training future organizers, but every day, they strive to support the existing union and workers' rights and labor movement. So thank you so much, and congratulations to you. God, what a crazy day this has been. So I was raised in this country. I live in the Bronx now. So go Bronx, all right. But I was born in India, and I came here with my family when I was almost 7. And so I wake up early in the morning to the news that basically fascism has spread right across India in the elections that took place today. Not only did the right-wing party gain more prominence, but I think more importantly, the left took on some pretty huge losses. And then on my way here, I find out that a journalist who exposed war crimes of the empire has been criminalized with 17 charges. So needless to say, we live in a really, desperate time, where there is a serious threat of political fascism across this globe. And, it's no longer rhetoric, right? It's no longer, exaggeration. It's a lived reality. And as a result of that, we know that, both around issues of climate change, but as well as immigration and war and militarism, there is a serious threat to people across this globe, and particularly to poor people, to people that have more limited, choices and options, and are always on the front lines of attack. And so I have to tell you, as someone, I was raised as, as a child of immigrant, Indian parents. My grandmother would come and stay with us off and on, and my grandmother would always tell me how she was a kid, she marched against the British and she got arrested, and what the hell was I gonna do with my life that could compare? So believe me, Greg, my grandmother would not be impressed with me. I've yet to be arrested. She'd be like, God, what a waste of life, And so, it's not like a lot of these issues are so new, right? But as somebody who really was raised with the consciousness around, global issues and the history of, oppression and imperialism and colonialism, to be very specific, which really for us is the intersection between capital and race. What is happening today globally isn't necessarily so new, but it is absolutely, I think, there's a more urgency here because of the levels of control and power that many of these forces are now gaining. And that's precisely the reason why I grew up only wanting to be a labor organizer. That's all I ever wanted to be, and not just to please my grandmother, though that was part of it. But it was also to really represent, my family's reality. My mom was a factory worker, and my father, after selling everything they had in India and working in warehouses and here and there, put everything he had together for a one-aisle bodega in a very small working class town of 10,000 people in New Jersey. And growing up, my mom was a Teamster, and every time they would, the newsletter would come at home. Like, we didn't always get to eat dinners together, right? My mom usually worked the night shift, and my dad worked 12 hours in the store. And, since we were like 13, 14, all the kids had a job. But everyone always took turns reading my mom's union newspaper. And it wasn't just to know about my mom's life, but it was also to know about what the people that were essentially shaping my mom's life during the hours that we didn't get to see her, what they were up to. And, I have to be honest, like, it's not all a rosy picture. It left me also with a lot of distaste, because I also saw a woman like my mom who was so brilliant, and she passed away a year ago, but, who was so brilliant and amazing, and could like rile up all her coworkers. That brilliance was never recognized, and most of that is because, from the color of her skin to her gender to her accent and to which passport she carried. And I tell you something, all that did is leave that union less powerful. Because had a person of that power been recognized, the lives of all of those workers would have been made better. That union would have become more powerful, and we as a movement would get to live up to our name. And so that's why diversity matters, because essentially what it does is it gives recognition to those that otherwise remain invisible, right? And it opens up doors of power that otherwise are shut for those that remain the most powerless. And it's like, when you're standing in looking at a picture, when you're really close to that picture, you have one view. But when you go farther away from that picture, you get to see that whole big picture. And that's really what people at the margins have. They give you that bird's eye view of, all the different forces at play. Both the genius strokes of vibrant color, as well as that which gets dimmed the farther you're away. And so we have to challenge our movement, I know no one really likes words like, to be inclusive, right? It's not about being inclusive. It's what we have to do is challenge our movement for our institutions to become movement vehicles, and not just to remain institutions, I really want to say to all of you, who are students here, and today's students and tomorrow's organizers. So it sounds like many of you have already been organizing. I want to say to you that when you're out there and you're working, don't have an allegiance to your institution. Have an allegiance to your people. Have your allegiance to the movement. Institutions come and go. Yeah. And I don't say that lightly, right? And I don't mean it rhetorically, because at the same time, of course, we know that movements are anchored by institutions, and so we have to build our organizations. But fundamentally, you're going to be working for the workers. You're not out there to work for anybody with a title. We always say to our members, that you build the union. Like, you're our bosses. You give us the command. You're on the front lines as the soldiers in this economy, but therefore you are the generals of the union. You get to call the shots, because at the end of the day, with the decisions or indecisions that our unions make, it's those workers on the front line that face those consequences. And so you, as an organizer, that's who you should be there to work for. Without those workers, you don't get a job, right? Without those workers, we don't get a movement. And without that movement, we don't get to change the world. And so, And so I feel so blessed to get to do what I do. I feel really proud that the Taxi Workers Alliance, when Uber and Lyft came into town, our leadership took a vote, and many of our members who were driving for yellow cabs started to work for Uber and Lyft, and our leadership took a vote and said, we're going to retain one union. We're not going to divide ourselves up, that this is one industry with multiple sectors, and so we're going to band together as one workers' organization. And so we get to be the organization that a couple of weeks ago got to, organize a historic Uber, Lyft, Via Juno drivers' day of strike, a global day of strike, and then, And then just, a couple weeks later, this past weekend, it's our members who are on the front pages of the New York Times story that detail the predatory lending in the medallion industry. And what really, really amazed me, like on the strike day with our app driver members, what amazed me is the number of them who, when they talked about why they were out on strike, they talked both about the economic demands of app drivers, the fact that, just up to a few months ago, over 85% of app drivers in New York City were found to be earning below minimum wage, that a Federal Trade Commission inquiry fined Uber, settled with Uber for a fine of $20 million for fraudulent practices because less than 10% of the drivers nationally ever earned the amount that Uber had advertised. But meanwhile, drivers depended on those advertised earnings. They banked on them as they entered into agreements to buy cars or lease cars, which many of those vehicles were like $90,000 over a 3-year period. And less than 10% of the drivers ever earned enough to actually pay them off. They talked about the fact that in some cities, our Uber, Lyft brothers and sisters earn as little as $7 an hour. And over 40 states across this country, they're earning below the minimum wage. And so they struck in solidarity with the drivers, not only in New York City, but also outside of New York City. And they talked about the solidarity with the yellow cab drivers who have just watched their, watch that entire sector just be slowly demolished. I mean, how on earth do you expect a sector of less than 10,000 cars operating to compete with Wall Street banked companies that have over 85,000 vehicles at their disposal? I mean, people have just gotten drowned out there. And so, to see that unity has just been so profoundly moving. We took a risk in building that unity. We took a risk in saying that it was even possible that when, other people across the globe were, setting cars on fire, we were trying to hold meetings, to strategize on how we could co-organize. Also, last year was a time when we had seen 9 driver suicides in our industry. I mean, fundamentally, what the gig economy has done is taken full-time professions, whether it's the taxi industry or, their attempt to enter into to destabilize the hotel industry, right, through Airbnb. They've fundamentally taken full-time jobs and turn them into part-time gigs. And the more the workers organize, all you hear back is, well, this isn't supposed to be a full-time job. Oh, this is only a part-time job, to, oh, this is only a gig for a couple hours here and there. The companies continue to lower the standards that we're supposed to expect from them by claiming that this really isn't a job at all. I remember when we first started organizing in the mid-90s, there was a very famous article out asking the question, are unions relevant? But the question of the gig economy is, are workers relevant? And so we, as the movement that stands front line to defend the rights of the working class and for the right of workers to exist, we have to be on the front lines fighting back against that. And, I have to say, as depressing as the day began for me, it never ends on a depressing note, because when you organize, you do get to see the worst in the economy, but you also get to see the best in people, right? You get to see the courage, you get to see the hope. And ultimately, you get to see their vision for change. And so I want to say to all of you who are students, it's an honor for me to be here with you today. I congratulate you. I look forward to seeing you on the picket lines and on strike lines and organizing together. I want to congratulate all of you who are award winners. And really, I don't think I could have entered into a brighter space to feel more hopeful than to be around brothers and sisters who believe in the labor movement and who know that ultimately, with all of the levels of oppression and all the ills in our society that we talk about, it is an organized, militant, democratic labor movement that will change this world. Thank you.
Cards if they haven't.
Oh, okay, let me have one.
What's special about it.
I have lots of announcements. So, I'd like to thank Bhairavi for your long-term friendship and connection with First Murphy and now the School of Labor and Urban Studies. And thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your experience, because we recognize you as a powerful, powerful voice in the movement. And we know that you're a voice our scholars who are scattered out here will look to as they move along their career and academic path. So we thank you very much. For the next portion of the program, I'm pleased to bring to the stage someone who's been a champion for working men and women for decades. But before I do that, I have to take a commercial break. And the commercial break is, you have been provided cards. If you have not, you can raise your hand and someone here will bring a card to provide some information to us about your favorite moments here at the School of Labor and Urban Studies. Rose is passing out cards. And during the program, we will try to see if we can read some of them and share some of them with you. The other announcement I'd like to make is please, 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 if not now, read the bios of these young scholars we're bringing in here this year. Please, read their bios to get a sense of who they are. We have some amazing people who are going to be walking towards your footsteps, okay? And last but not least, I'd like to announce on the table we have selfie sticks, and the selfie sticks are to be shared. Open them up, use them. We want you to use them to take selfies. Open them up and use them tonight, okay? They are a generous gift from our Associate Dean, Gladys Del Palma Schreinermaker. Thank you. Okay, so we'll continue with our program. As I said, I'm pleased to bring to the stage someone who's been a champion for working men and women for decades. Arthur Chiliotis, he's the chair of the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies Labor and Community Advisory Board. Yes, yay! And is currently now serving as the business manager for one of our original partner unions, CWA Local 1180. Okay? Come on. In addition to being our full-time public advocate in the community of labor in CUNY and in Albany, Arthur has been the driving force behind the scholarship's annual fundraising effort. So please join me in welcoming Arthur Chiliotis.
Thank you so much. Well, your presentation was really something that was heartfelt by me. And one of the things that we all need to remember is the international scope of what labor movement is about. The world is changing. We all see the struggles that workers have in this nation, because we're living with collective bargaining laws that might have been appropriate for the industrial age, but don't address the needs of workers in the current gig economy, as it becomes more and more the element that, the type of work that workers can find. But there are lessons to be learned. There are lessons to be learned from the building trades, because the building trades basically deals from job to job as it changes over time. And we need to understand and educate ourselves as to how they do it. We also need to understand that the usual model of labor organizations has changed. The Taxi Workers Alliance is a perfect example of that. We have to adapt to the times. And we need an institution like the CUNY School of Labor to address these issues and discuss these issues. We don't have the answers, but we have the questions. And unless we are able to engage in discussions that are sometimes very painful, to speak to these issues, if we don't have a forum where we feel comfortable talking about the change that has to happen, not only for the labor movement to grow, but to sustain a democracy and not become a fascist state, then certainly what we need is to grow the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies. And so it's been my privilege over the last 30-odd years, I always get it wrong, is it 35 years now, Greg? When we started with 3 unions, 50 students, and are now at over 1,200 students with 25 unions and organizations. And it's long overdue for the city of New York, the most organized labor town in the country, not to have a school of labor was absolutely wrong. And the members of the Labor Advisory Board, the Central Labor Council, the state AFL-CIO, said it's time. If the City University of New York was looked upon as a vehicle for workers, for immigrants, to get an education, to advance to the middle class, then certainly it is in tune with what organized labor does. Bringing workers together so that they can live with dignity, with justice and respect, so that they can have good paying jobs, so that they can afford to live a decent life and not be exploited. And our culture today minimizes that. Get it on your own. And everything you see today in many educational institutions is, where's the profit? Hello. Where's the profit? What scheme can we develop to take a healthcare industry, put them in the stock market, make them a profit center, where Wall Street money can invest in them and measure them by how much return they get on increasing their premiums and minimizing the payouts? That financialization of our society is part of the problem that we have today. And only when we inform and educate people, because too many of our institutions are involved in not creating good citizens, but creating good consumers. The calves to be fattened up for the profits of Wall Street. And so it takes critical thinking. It takes educating people to have that critical thinking, to do what is necessary to combat that, to not be bamboozled by fascist leaders who will take the difference between working people who are both struggling and say, well, they're different, so you shouldn't worry about them. That takes being enlightened. That takes understanding what it means to be a true trade unionist. That takes what it means to be a member of a society that understands that we are all our brother's keepers. And those aren't socialist thinking. When I went to Sunday school, that's what they talked about too. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, what happened to that? Well, we need to have this institution supported, sustained, and to grow, to make sure that it educates the next generation. I turned 70. Who knows how much more time I have? And we have at Local 1180 elected a wonderful woman to lead our organization, Gloria Middleton. And I told Gloria, I got your back. But these are the things I want to continue to do. And she said, go right ahead, Arthur. And these things are important to all of us, not only as we toil every day at our jobs, but as we determine what our society will look like, who we will care for. So I'm very proud of the work we have done, but I find that we have a lot more to do. And it's all of you around here that will make a difference. And I have to say, I really thank those who have contributed to make this scholarship possible. Because one of the things we realized when we had Murphy is that we went out looking for labor scholars, and we couldn't find them, who were women or people of color, who could offer an insight that takes into account and reflects the growing number of women and people of color in the labor movement. More than half now, I believe, of the labor movement in organized labor are women. And no one can tell you, given what's gone on with the teachers throughout this nation, that you need a union to make a point. Where unions are illegal, people demand a living wage and support for the important work that they do as teachers. We have to learn from that. And we have to grow it. And so, first, let me again say that American Healthcare and Maxor, your gold sponsorship was really appreciated. I know that Empire Blue Cross is here as well, Blue Shield, GVS, General Vision Services, and Emblem Health all made substantial contributions for these scholarships. We should thank you. The trade union contributors have already been mentioned. And I would like to say how much I appreciate really the vision of the founding dean of the CUNY School of Labor, because it was his vision. I came along for the ride, and it's been a good ride. But the fact of the matter is that we need more visionaries. We need more people who understand that if we are to survive as a society, we need to have more students in these programs and participating in organized labor to make a difference. And with that, I'll turn it back to our MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those wonderful words. And for the years and years, 38 years? 35 years? 35 years of collaborative relationship, and this is what it yields. You see how wonderful it is. Imagine 38 years from now what it's going to be. Let's imagine. I will be. Okay, so now we present another highlight of tonight's program, this year's Rising Leaders. Yay! So our awards committee was unanimous in their selection of Santos Rodriguez and Lorella Praeli, two outstanding leaders who have dedicated their lives to fighting for their communities and campaigning for economic and social justice. We celebrate their courage, their innovation, and their tireless efforts to promote the empowerment for those striving for a better life. And so, with much anticipated opening as the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies this year, let me add my voice to those who have already expressed their deep gratitude to the SLU Advisory Board. And a member of the advisory board is here to present the first Rising Leader Award. She too has tirelessly fought for workers' rights and for immigration justice, and it is my pleasure to introduce May Chin. I'm going to say a little bit, I'm going to say a little bit about you, make you blush. So May Chin's involvement in the movement began in 1983 with her membership in the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. Yay. And even though it says on this paper, ILGWU, I know what it means because my mom was a member too. May Chin was in Local 2325, and she worked with the ILGWU Immigration Project. This project was the first union-initiated legal advocacy department for immigration workers, and it was created to assist workers in application for U.S. citizenship, legalization, and with sponsorship petitions on behalf of relatives. She's also been an active member of the Coalition for Labor Union Women, the Asian Labor Committee of New York, the City Central Labor Council, and the AFL-CIA's as the Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance, of which she was a founding member and officer. Currently, May Chin serves on the board as a board chair for Immigration Action, which pursues potent immigration rights advocacy and seeks comprehensive immigration reform. Please welcome May Chin.
Thanks so much. I think I need to update my bio because basically I'm a retiree and a grandma, first of all, these days. But I'm so happy to be here with the sisters and brothers, many friends and longtime colleagues of CUNY, and want to especially thank Greg and Arthur for so many years of leadership over this program. And tonight, I'm especially honored to be introducing a very, very special young leader. Lorella Praeli is the Deputy National Political Director and Director of Immigration Policy and Campaigns for the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU. Yay. And with my former colleague, Moose of Archishi, if you don't know him, he headed the ILGW Immigration Project and hired me to work there. We had, as one of our early interns, the current executive director of the ACLU, Tony Romero, who is an excellent immigration advocate and intern back in the day, and of course is doing an amazing job heading up the ACLU. So as for Lorella, I've known of her story, her passion, and the amazing work she's been doing through the Clinton campaign a couple years ago and pressing Obama on the DACA issues. She's been a leader as well as a role model for the DACA students, and I understand there's a videotaped role to tell her story, and then we'll bring her up here.
unlikely story, but also a very possible story in America. And I feel like I get to celebrate this award with the students that are choosing social justice work in the labor movement or in other spaces.
The first time I was public about my undocumented status, I was at a press conference in New Haven. I had nothing prepared, so I didn't have any paper in front of me. I just sort of spoke from my heart and my gut. And that was the first time I looked into the cameras and I said,
I am undocumented. For years, I learned to be quiet and to live in the shadows and to hide. I would not be able to have stood here a few months ago and to share this with you. But I can no longer just sit and wait for something to happen without being involved in the process. There were many people who set the path for me. So it is an honor for me to receive the 2019 Rising Leader Award because I feel, and it's an incredible privilege and responsibility to have the opportunity to set the path and to build the path with other people, with young people, with people who are saying yes to social movement building. Deferred action for childhood arrivals didn't happen because President Obama woke up one day and said, oh, I'm gonna do this. I feel good today and I'm gonna give dreamers something. There was a lot of work to make that happen. It was years of organizing, of storytelling, of defiance, of coming out, and sharing who we are with America.
My name is Lorella Praeli, and I'm an American. As you saw in the video, I recently became a U.S. citizen, but for 14 years, I was undocumented.
My advice to people, especially to young, rising leaders, is to not give up and to remember why you're in this fight to begin with. And that you have to believe in yourself first. That you have to trust that it's a process and that you're going to learn along the way and it's going to be challenging and some people might doubt you and some people will support you. And at the end of the day, you've got to remember that fire in your belly, that reason why you woke up one day and said, this is the kind of work that I want to do, and to never forget that.
So it's my honor to bring Lorella up to the stage and to present her this award.
Thank you, May. My deepest gratitude to you, Dean Mencius, and the rest of the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies for recognizing me with this honor. I also want to take a moment to thank my family who joins me tonight and my very good friend and mentor, Moose Chisti. I am who I am because of you. It is a true privilege to be standing before you today, to reflect on the journey that brought me to this moment, and to ruminate on the path ahead. The fights, the people, the contracts, the chants, the very real movement building work that we have to continue to do in order to build and strengthen the movement for racial, economic, and social justice. I believe in the power of the people. People who have never been asked to dream big or been told that they have the agency to bring about the world as it should be. I also believe that only organizing can deliver the victories our people deserve and challenge the gross inequality of power in the United States. So tonight I smile because we get to celebrate the labor leaders of the present and the future. We celebrate with those who understand, in the words of Frederick Douglass, that power concedes nothing without a demand. And if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Congratulations to the 2019 scholarship recipients and to my co-honoree, Santos Rodriguez. The road to justice and freedom is long and hard, and it is also hopeful. It is in that struggle that we reclaim our humanity. And so, especially because I am in a room with activists, and because our days are hard and the fights feel heavy, I want to ask you to join me in a chant. Can we do that? All right. I am somebody. And I deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. I am. Okay, hold up. I feel like we've got to give it a little bit more power because the fights are hard and because we put everything out on the line, right? We give every part of ourselves to this fight, day in and day out. Let's do it one more time. I am somebody. And I deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. Thank you.
We'll get it. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a joy. I mean, you've been revitalized a little bit here, right? With this chant, we feel like we're on the line. So, thank you so much. So we're going to move on now and have a presentation, the presentation of our second rising leader. And we are so pleased to have with us today the president of the Building Trades and Construction Council of Greater New York, Gary LaBarbera. Gary LaBarbera is a leader and mentor. He insisted for over a decade as president of the Buildings and Trades Construction Council that the working men and women he represents be treated with dignity. He has been a passionate advocate for over 100,000 New York City workers from the locals of 15 national and international unions that make up the council. He's fought vigorously for inclusivity and for programs that are a path to the middle class. Prior to his tenure as the president of the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York, Gary LaBarbera served organized labor in several capacities, including as president of the New York City Central Labor Council, president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Joint Council 16, and as president of the Teamsters Local 282. Please help me welcome to the stage Gary LaBarbera. Hello, how are you? Good.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for that gracious introduction. I have the pleasure tonight to introduce someone special to me, Santos Rodriguez. I'm going to say a few words before we show a video. And before I say a few words about Santos, I just want to share with you some of the way, how I feel tonight being here. And I have to say, being with all of you and hearing the passion and the commitment and the dedication, it is truly revitalizing. All of the speakers tonight hit on a couple of common themes, and I think they're the most important themes. And, you know, I look at Arthur. Arthur and I have literally been together for decades and served on the Central Labor Council together and many other boards over the years. And we've certainly got our battle scars. But what drove us was a passion and a deep belief in working people, working men and women. And as Laura just said, this is hard work that requires 100% commitment. And it's so important to develop future leadership that understands the importance of what we do every day and the mission that we actually have. It isn't just about, as was stated earlier, and I remember early on when I was the Central Labor President when the Alliance was just beginning very, very well. And I remember that strike. At the time I was serving as the president. It isn't just about the institutions. It is about the workers. And there is no question about that. It is about equality, and it is about preventing exploitation of the most vulnerable. And we see that in particular in our industry, in the non-union sector, where it is largely Latino, many undocumented, and if you're following the press, we've had for the last 5 years unprecedented levels of fatalities in the non-union sector, in the industry. These workers are treated like no more than a commodity. They are shown no respect. They are given no training, and they certainly have no voice, because when they try to raise their voices, their employers threaten them with ICE. And this is the cruel reality of the non-union sector of the construction industry. And that's what we fight every day. Arthur said the building trades has a very unique model. No two jobs are the same. We go literally day to day fighting for our next job. And we evolve with the industry, with technologies. And this question of gig economy, which is now being discussed on a very broad basis throughout the state, is a very relevant conversation, because the world is changing, as Arthur said, and certainly the construction industry is changing. But the one thing that is not changing is that in the construction industry, the only true path to a middle class life is through a union apprenticeship program. That is a fact. So let me segue into briefly Santos' story, which is a great story, and it's documented in his bio, and you're going to see a video in a moment. But Santos grew up in public housing in Brooklyn, and upon his graduation from high school, made a decision that he thought going into the construction industry would be opportunity for him to create a middle-class life. And he went into and entered into one of our pre-apprentice programs, which is now known as the Edward J. Malloy Construction Skills Initiative, which I proudly serve as president. And we've brought in over 2,000 members of the city, over 80% of them minorities, and gave them entrance into apprenticeship programs, into careers, and into the middle class. And that is the path that Santos pursued. Once in Local 12 of the Insulators Union, he went through his apprentice, became a mechanic, worked in the industry, but shortly thereafter, his involvement and his passion in his own union was recognized by leadership, and he became an organizer on staff and their political director. And as my tenure as the president of the Building Trades Council, Santos oftentimes would be coordinating with other organizers at our offices. I wanted to create several years ago a position which is the Director of Community Affairs and Strategic Initiatives, because it was my belief that it was so important to reach out to the community and to continue to advance diversity within the building trades. And there was no other individual that I thought would fit that role better than Santos Rodriguez, because I saw in him qualities that I believe were unique. But the most important quality that I saw in Santos was his true commitment and this unselfish and giving persona. And what that means is that in these jobs, in these vocations, to be a true leader, you have to be unselfish and you have to be giving. This can't be about you as an individual. It has to be about the workers you're trying to help. And Santos has done an outstanding job working on increasing diversity, building relationships with community organizations, and is really, in my opinion, a rising leader. And he knows I feel that way about him. He brings with him not only experience in the industry, but he brings with him experience as a Latino, which is very important because he looks at the world with a different perspective than someone that is not a Latino. And his perspective is what is helping expand diversity within the building trades. So before he comes up, we're going to see a quick video. But again, I want to just say to Santos, very heartfelt, it's an honor for me to be here tonight and to be able to introduce him. I'm sure he'll introduce his beautiful family. But when I look at Santos and his wife and his two children, and I know the life that they're living, it's the American dream. And I know that it's because of the union they have what they have. And I know, most importantly, Santos knows it's because of the union they have what they have. And he will never forget that. And he will always try to help everyone else in this industry, all workers, to have the same life that he has and be able to provide for his family the way he does. Let's please now turn our attention to the video.
The movement was built by one person just saying, you know, I'm being taken advantage of. I'm not getting water. Never mind fair wages. There's not water being provided for us. There's not a bathroom or restroom. We're working all these hours. And people came together and started doing for each other.
And the enemy is right up in your face when your back's against the ropes and you're feeling all alone. Keep fighting the good fight.
Thank you, Governor. On behalf of Gary LaBarbera and the Building and Construction Trades Council of New York City, I am proud to stand with Governor Cuomo and other New Yorkers here today to support our brothers and sisters in need. Together, we are committed to help the residents of Puerto Rico return to their homes and rebuild an island better than ever before.
I'm with you in the next step, giving you the next breath. I'll be the voice saying you're gonna make it. When you're out there on your own, you are never alone. Keep fighting the good fight.
Basically a humanitarian effort. It's nothing else than a give back. There's nothing more satisfying than to help those that can't pay you in return, but in helping others is where you see the most satisfaction, and that's why it means so much to me to be able to be here and given this opportunity to be here, a part of it.
Keep fighting
I was appointed at 29 years old as the organizer of the Heat and Frost Insulators and Allied Workers, local number 12 here in New York City. And for most of us, we don't get a chance, a second chance, a third chance. So when this opportunity presented itself, I didn't think about it twice. I never looked back.
'Cause I'm never gonna leave you, always gonna see you through to the other side. Keep fighting.
Please join me in welcoming Santos Rodriguez.
So, first, I want to thank God for giving me the strength to fight every day. I want to thank Gary. Yes, I call him boss, but he's a partner. He believes more than anyone I've ever met in me, in the people, and what we do and what we fight for. I want to thank my family. My wife Liz Mary, my daughter Kaylee, my son Christian, my cousin Salisa, my co-workers, Nicole. I'm here today because of everyone else in this room. This isn't about me. This is about the recipients. Rose knows when she first called me, I did not want to do this video. Yet alone give her pictures of, I told her I don't take pictures of myself out there.
I had to email him like 10 times.
That's true. But it really isn't about me. It's about the workers. It always has been. I've been provided a livelihood in an industry that traditionally people still throw rocks at us for the lack of diversity. I wouldn't be here today if there was a lack of diversity in the industry, a lack of respect for us as people. We see each other as union brothers and sisters. That's who we are. To the recipients, congratulations, Lorella. She said something very important. She said a lot of things that were very important. But the one thing that stuck out the most to me was believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. There are gonna be days that you wake up, you're gonna hate what you do. There's gonna be days that you gotta work through that. And I gotta be quite honest, I'm probably very fortunate. I don't hate what I do. I love it. I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. For those of you that know me, know that I'm always carrying a smile on my face. It's who we are, it's who I am. Thank you, Dean. Thank you to the board. Thank you, David. Keep one thing in mind. And Gary pointed it out. It's never about yourself. Never, ever is it about you. It's about what you can do for others. what you can do for the people of the city, no matter if you're a woman, no matter if you're black, brown, gay, whatever religions you come from, it does not matter. We are people. We fight for each other, and we fight for those that fight against us too at times. But I'm truly humbled and honored to be receiving this. And this isn't about me today, but it's about the recipients. I want to, thank everyone once again. Have a good night. And the best speech is a short speech, so I hope I didn't keep you guys too long.
So, okay, done. See, just like that, it's done. So I'm just always so overjoyed. I'm always overjoyed anyway, but I'm always overjoyed at this event. And I just want to call to your attention, I want you to notice the common thread that has run through every single person that has graced this podium this evening. They all are humble workers working for great causes. They're all catalysts for great change, right? And so with that said, I want to thank our guest speaker. I want to thank our honorees. And I want to introduce you to the next wave of change makers. I want to introduce our scholars, our 2019, let me get it right, Joseph S. Murphy Scholarship for Diversity in Labor recipients. I'm gonna have them join me. Do I have them join me? Okay, and so now the scholarship awardees will come to the stage along with the Labor Studies Chair, Professor Stephanie Luce, and our Associate Dean. Is our Associate Dean? Okay. Yes?
Yes, come on up.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to have the scholarship winners. Scholarship winners, you know who you are. You know who you are. Yes, you're to come. Yes. Okay. And so let me make an announcement while the stage is being reset. This is like when you go to Broadway and they have to do the setting because they don't have a curtain. Okay? So in addition to what you're witnessing tonight, we have many programs here at the School of Labor and Urban Studies. But one program I'd like to bring to your attention this evening is, in addition to the scholarship program, the other way the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies is dedicated to ensuring diversity, this is your moment, diversity in the labor movement is by participating, and this year we're hosting the SLU, the School of Labor and Urban Studies, is hosting the 44th Northeastern Women's Summer School for women in unions and worker organizations. Yes. Okay. So we are honored to host this year at Hofstra University from July 27th through the 31st. And for more information about the program, for registration, please see where's Diana Robinson? Is she not here?
She's out there.
Diana, come in here. Diana Robinson is also come in here. She's also the coordinator for the Union Semester Program. And guess what? She's a former diversity scholarship winner. Yes. That's what you turn into, right? After you graduate, that's what you turn into. So now I'm going to move on from the commercial, and I'm going to continue with the program. So we have on our stage now. We have everyone here? Yes. Okay. So Stephanie Luce received her bachelor's degree at the University of California, Davis, and both her PhD in sociology and her master's in her MA in industrial relations from the University of Wisconsin at Madison. Best known for her research on living wage campaigns and movement, she is the author of Fighting for a Living Wage and co-author of The Living Wage, Building a Fair Economy and the Measure of Fairness. Her research focuses on globalization and labor standards, labor community coalitions, and regional labor markets. Welcome our Professor Stephanie Luce. Okay. We also have with us on the stage to honor these students and present them with their awards this evening, our Associate Dean Gladys Palmer D. Shrine-Maker. She's a wonderful addition to our school. As you have already seen with her, you've seen her moving around the room and greeting us. Gladys comes to SOU from Medgar Evers College, where she was the Assistant Vice President and Associate Provost. Gladys holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from St. John's University, 3 master's degrees from City University, that's right, something to shoot for, from City University, Long Island University, and Teachers College, Columbia University, where she also received her doctorate. Her passion about helping students from diverse and working class backgrounds is realized in their dreams. She's a card-carrying UFT member. Gladys continues to teach even while serving an administrative role. Now on with awarding the 2019 scholarship recipients. You have their
I'm a little short. Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. It is my pleasure to share with you the very brief narratives of our illustrious recipients this year, because I urge you to please look at their complete bios on starting page 14 in your programs. But I would rather you meet them and see them, because their narratives are a lived narrative of passion, pain, persistence, and achievement. Oh, come on, you all can do better than that. This is why we're here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the School of Labor and Urban Studies is so essential to our city and country. I am going to start with our first recipient, Virgilio Arang, who grew up in the Dominican Republic. He graduated from Hunter College with a BA in political science and later attended the Cornell University Union Leadership Institute. We are delighted that he is going to belong to us now and will be starting his MA in Labor Studies. Please stand up to be recognized, sir.
First of all, good evening to everyone. I want to thank everyone who is here. I want to thank the committee. I want to thank my family. We think as an organizer that anything that happens is because it's a collective effort. So when I see this here, it is because a great number of people has been made sure that this happened. And I would never end, like everyone who is here in one way has played an important role for this to happen. When I see Jean, when I see Irene, when I see Serene. So this one is not about Virgilio, but this one is a collective movement. We know that we talk about that we are in a difficult time, but one of the things that we have to trust is that the working class is not the first time that has been in a difficult time. And we always rise, and the movement continues rising. And we have an urgency, and the urgency that everyone who is here, it is to see as organizer, it is how many people we are training to be the new leaders of every day. That has to be our urgency that we get up. So as a collective, thank you so much for this. I'm very happy. Thank you.
Okay, our next recipient is Kofi Bentham. Kofi is the recipient of the 2019 Albert Newman Award. He is a member of Teamsters Local 272, and he will be joining our bachelor's degree in Urban and Community Studies with a concentration in labor. Kofi was born in a small fishing town in Ghana. In his scholarship application, he summarized this rite of passage coming to the United States. The experience during the war, destruction of life and property, would set me, a kid in the refugee camp, on a quest to seek peace and prosperity for all. And we are so thrilled to have him here with us at Murphy and the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies.
Good evening, everyone. I can't even begin to describe the joy of being here again this evening. I'm particularly thankful to everyone who has made it here this evening. Actually, today marks the beginning of a new page in my life, if I can say that, for which I'm very grateful. I'm particularly thankful to one of my professors from Queensborough Community College, where I just finished my associates in labor studies. Her name is Erin Chavez. She's the one who nominated me to the very first class of the community semester program in the fall of 2017, and that is where it all started. I'm thankful to the opportunity I was given through that program to work as an intern at the Urban Justice Center, the Street Vendor Project, where we worked assiduously on trying to change the very, very, very difficult street vending laws in the city of New York. There are many, many, many street vendors out there whose only desire is to make ends meet and make a living like everybody else. But there are laws in this city that makes it impossible for people to just get by. That is so unfair. And so one of my passions at Urban Justice Center was trying to make sure that we make that change. And the fight is still on. Organizing is not an event, it's a process. And we take our victory. Every single step is important. We are not looking at winning big, but then we win one step at a time, one day at a time, and we will make change happen. I want to say a very big thank you also to my brother, Kovna, who is here tonight to support. Thank you. Also, I want to say a very big thank you to Nanama Bentum. She's not here, she's in Ghana. She's my lifelong partner and friend, our children. I'm a father of two, my daughter, Mami Esi, and my son, Kofi. And I would also like to thank Professor Gori Sadouani of the School of Labor and Urban Studies. They've been my teachers. They've been very, very helpful every step of the way. I'd like to thank Professor Rebecca Lurie. She's not here this evening. She's out of town, but then she's been so, so helpful. I want to thank Professor James Steele. I was part of their, here what we call their Civic Engagement and Leadership Program. Professor James Steele. And my friend, Dr. Robin Ford and Elena Conte. Elena Conte is also a teacher over here. I'm very thankful for all the support I had from Elena, Dr. Janet Leslie. She helped me so much. And I'm still looking forward to so much more, because I tell you, this is just an environment of support. It's a support system that is meant for everyone to succeed. So I'm thankful to Ms. June, Cherise Mullins, and also to my friend, my very good friend and sister from Ghana, Nana Mampa. She's been very, very helpful. I'm thankful. And to the executive administrators of CUNY, CUNY SLU Advisory Board, and the entire SLU faculty and academic support staff, thank you so much. And most importantly, I want to say a very big thank you to the City University of New York for showing the way towards a debt-free tertiary education. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now I'm going to call a fellow UFT sister up, please. Miss Tanisha Franks. We all know that United Federation of Teachers hold up our schools, and the teachers do an incredible job on a daily basis. So I want to give her a shout out. She is this year's recipient of the David Livingston Memorial Scholarship Award, and she is starting an MA in Labor Studies. We are so happy to have a UFT sister. Thank you.
So I brought up my selfie stick to take a picture of our crew. Yep. Yes, that's the crew. See you at graduation. So, of course, technology fails us, but here we go. So I was busy with the selfie. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I can barely contain my excitement, reflecting on who I chose to invite to be with me here tonight. I was struck knowing that a similar collection of support would be present for each of the scholarship recipients. The web of love and support is overwhelmingly magnificent. Here we are surrounded by family members, co-workers, faculty and benefactors, and the phenomenal award winners. Each one who has taken time away from her or his personal endeavors to celebrate us here tonight. I am beyond grateful you have pushed us, encouraged us, assisted us, and cheered us on. This journey is just starting. Many in the room know that this is only the beginning. Yes. I couldn't help but talk about what I saw and felt in this space, the collective energy. Now, though, I beg your indulgence while I talk about me. If that was a text message, I would have followed it by LOL. In a recent, minutely contentious social media post of mine, I referred to myself as a warrior. After I read what I wrote, I wondered if I had gone too far. I quickly shook off that notion, and I owned who I am. Because we as women are pushing to say that we are here. And I show up ready to fight, ready to battle on a daily basis for equity, battle for fairness, and battle for justice. I want to win. So I chose to further my development like every warrior should. I applied to the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies because there's so much to know and strategize about. This we know going into the 2020 election and coming off of experiences like the campaigns to have a constitutional convention, which we were able to overcome, and the aftermath of the Janus decision, which we have stood in stronger and prouder and more united. When I browse the course offerings, that fire that wildly burns in my depths got a clear sense of what we could be with all the knowledge and experience that it affords. I am saying plainly, without the Joseph F. Murphy Scholarship for Diversity in Labor Award, I would not be able to finance this program, a single mother of 3 with their own educational pursuits. So I want to close, and I want to say congratulations to the award winners. Whoa, how inspirational you are. And the other scholarship awardees, I look forward to going down this path with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to my fellow warriors from the United Federation of Teachers who are here to cheer me on. I only hope to become the phenomenal unionist that you are today someday. Thank you to the contributors for your generosity who have cast votes of confidence as we are the future of the labor and social justice movement. The biggest shout out to my family for being my biggest fans and putting up with my grumpiness when I have worn myself out, and the frequent fast food options because I simply am a terrible cook. You thought I was gonna say that I didn't have time to cook. The facts are that I'm a terrible cook. And congratulations to you all again. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Remember I did the... Oh, that's right. Absolutely. It gets better and better, ladies and gentlemen. Anshu Kadaka, please. And say the last name again because I want to get it right. Karka. Anshu Karka is the recipient of the 1199 SEIU Basil Patterson Scholarship Award. Come on now. Thank you. A first-generation college graduate, earned her BA in comparative literature and political science from Queens College. She minored in women's studies. She will be joining us in an MA in labor studies. Please give a warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every individual in this room and outside this room who made it possible for all of us to be here tonight. My name is Angshu, and I'm a workers and community organizer at DRUM, Daisy's Rising Up and Moving. We organize working class South Asian and Indo-Caribbean communities in New York City. I moved to the United States in 2013 to pursue my undergraduate degree. When I moved to New York City in 2014, I transferred to Queens College, and I started working in restaurants to make sure that I had enough to pay for tuition, to pay for rent, for MetroCard, for food. One of my first memories is of my dad telling me of his dream of seeing me get a PhD. My dad left his home to provide for his family while in extreme poverty at the age of 12. He never got to go to school, and he weaved his dreams with mine. Growing up, I never saw my dad take a day off from work, not a single day. My mom quit her job and school to ensure she was there for her family when she got married at the age of 16. I inherited hard work and patience from my parents. I tell you this because all of these have made me who I am today. I am the first person in my family to have attended and graduated from college. DRUM is my political home, where I learned that as an immigrant, a TPS recipient from Nepal, working class woman of color, I had to work 60 hours or more a week because there was a system in place that made me do it. I don't want you to be proud of me because of what I have accomplished. I want you to be outraged that we live in systems that force us to be nothing but mere task force. I want you to be outraged that working class and poor communities have to give up every bit of their sanity to get an education, to be able to put food on the table. For me, understanding labor struggles came from working long hours at restaurants, political education at DRUM, working alongside working class and poor communities on the ground. I feel honored, privileged, and thankful to be here today, to be one of the recipients of Joseph Murphy Scholarship. But I also want to stress that we as working class people shouldn't have to put our bodies on the line to receive what is a right, what should be a right. Receiving this scholarship has opened doors for me to pursue my father's and my mother's dreams, belief in me from my friends, my professors, my chosen family, dreams that my brothers and sisters across the world are struggling to make their own. I recognize that I have a duty to fulfill, and I commit to keep fighting. Take the learnings from the classrooms to my everyday groundwork with the community and vice versa. The world we live in is a world of injustice, a world that was not created for us. While the heart of the struggle lies in in class struggle, it is fueled by all forms of oppression, from race, gender, caste, immigration status. It is all connected. I have to quote our sister and comrade, Asara Shakur, as I stand here today, that it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And I commit to fighting and learning and keep organizing with my peers and my comrades. Thank you.
All right. Such a great program we have here. So, okay, our next recipient is Violeta Gomez Uribe. Okay. Violeta is a member of Social Service Employees Union Local 371. She will be joining our bachelor's degree in urban and community studies with a concentration of labor. Violeta was born in Mexico and moved with her family in Sunset Park to Sunset Park, Brooklyn, at the age of 15. Violeta spoke in a speech delivered at the New York Coming Out of the Shadows rally in March 2011, and she said, "My name is Violeta, and I am undocumented, unafraid, and unapologetic, but mostly I am a dreamer." We are thrilled to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to my sisters and brothers from SEU 371. Since I have to say that since I've become a member of SE 371, I have found a home. I have received so much support, and I have been accepted for who I am. So thank you. I'm so honored, humble, and grateful to be here today as a Joseph F. Murphy Scholarship Diversity and Labor recipient. The journey to this day has been full of experiences that have made me a resilient and creative problem solver. I treasure each and every one of those experiences because they have brought me to this moment. Today, I'm here as the granddaughter of a bracero worker that picked oranges. Today, I'm here as the granddaughter of an indigenous Mexican woman that never had the opportunity to go to school. Today, I'm here as the daughter of a domestic worker that has raised many children besides her own. Today, I'm here. Today, I'm here as the undocumented student that some years ago saw the path to higher education nearly impossible. Today, I'm here because you decided to invest in me, and I'm grateful. Gratitude is more than just a feeling. Gratitude is an action. I'm committed not to only bringing myself to the table, but I'm making sure that the door gets wider and wider so we can all walk through it. Thank you to Thank you to everybody who funds this scholarship. Thank you to my teachers and mentors, to my friends and family that have always believed in me, at times more than I have believed in myself. Thank you to my Tio Pepe and my Tia Norma for being here today with me. Reverend Juan Carlos, thank you for teaching me how to organize, but mostly how to love all communities. To my younger self for not giving up. And the best for last, a huge thank you to my mommy, my mother, who has been there for me always. Thank you for disagreeing with me. Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for your unconditional love and support. And thank you for not only telling me, but teaching me and showing me resistance and resilience. Finally, I want to say and I want to honor all the people that are behind me, because I'm here today. But I'm here because thousands and thousands of people are behind me. I want to honor parents, grandparents, and caregivers that might never be considered successful because they don't get to be in the spotlight, but that you are successful because you get up to work every day for your kids to be successful. With gratitude, thank you.
Okay. One of Violetta's nominees for one of your letter writers has been talking to me all year saying, I'm so excited for Violetta to come to your program. So, okay. Our next recipient is Siring Lama. Siring. Siring is a Tibetan refugee from Nepal. Currently, she serves as the domestic worker organizer and English for Empowerment program coordinator at Adhikar, an organization that takes its name from the Nepali word for rights. And she is coming here to our school to help us continue this fight for rights. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Speeches are not my strength, so bear with me. I want to thank the SLU family for accepting me and for giving me this opportunity to be here today. My name is Siring Lama, and I'm a Tibetan immigrant born and raised in Nepal. I came to the US in 2008, and I've been working as a domestic worker since. I cleaned houses, I took care of children, and like many in my community from Nepal and India and Tibet and Bhutan, women pour their heart and soul taking care of these families like their own, even sometimes they don't even receive a thank you for the work that they do. I am a proud domestic worker, and I'm thankful for this industry for teaching me care, empathy, and organizing. This is a proud moment for me because my mom is here with me today, my sister, and I'm honored to be the first person in my family to do my master's. And this would not have been possible if we didn't have the diversity scholarship. This has been a dream as much as it has been a dream for my mother, for me to be able to kind of get higher education. Wait a minute. Yes. So I'm thankful for my family, but also I know my family will be filming this, and I have family in my WhatsApp group. They will be watching this in Nepal and beyond, so I want to thank them, and I love them. Two people who are here today is Narbada Didi from Adhikar, from my organization. And Irene, National Domestic Workers Alliance, and Virgilio. I think all of them have been my mentors, my sisters, my family for the last 3.5 years as I've been organizing. And they have really taught me, they have taught me everything I know about organizing in the labor movement, and I've learned to listen, to speak up, to debate, and most importantly, not use the mic, but to pass the mic to the voiceless. I want to thank Sol, my Cornell Yulee classmate and our SLU graduate. She was the one who actually pushed me to apply for the master's. Yes. Sol Armendi. She's in Boston doing the work that she's doing. Yep. So she's the one person who's like pushed me to apply for scholarship. So I'm really thankful for her. Obviously, I'm really thankful to CUNY, to SOU, to the Diversity Scholarship to give me this opportunity again. And I commit to learn. I commit to sharpen my skills and grow through this program to continue to fight for workers, to fight for my immigrant community, and to fight for the labor movement. And I want to thank you, everyone in this room today. Thank you.
Bueno, last but certainly not least, Teresa Ramos Villegas is the recipient of the 2019 SEIU John Reed Award. She graduated cum laude from Monroe College, earning a BA in Business Administration with an emphasis in Health Science Administration. If that's not amazing enough, she's the mommy of 6 children. A recommender said this of her: she exudes an extraordinary level of compassion for her family, at home, her union, and her commitment to her community. Ladies and gentlemen, Teresa.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And you must excuse me because I'm not very much of a public speaking kind of woman, but I guess tonight I will be. Again, yes, my name is Teresa Ramos Villegas, and I am a mother of 6 beautiful children. Yes, my third, actually, she's in Italy right now because she's a lieutenant in the Air Force. Yes. Whew, Lord. That's my sister over there waving at me. Yes, she knows I get kind of nervous. Okay, well, I was born in Manhattan, but raised in Brooklyn and in the Bronx. Both my parents are from Puerto Rico. So yes, Puerto Rican, but American Puerto Rican, because our parents decided to come and raise all of us in New York. I'm sorry, I always do that. Well, I'm employed with New York City Health and Hospitals for the last 20 years. Okay, I'm sorry. I've been with the Utilization Management Department as a clerical 4, affiliated with Local 1549, DC 37, 1549. And in November 2016, I decided to run for chapter chair. Well, I started as a shop steward, and then decided as the years kept coming in and I started seeing the abuse with my coworkers. And, with management, as we all know, they think they could write up their own policy and procedures and think they could write it under the table and just give it to us like it's okay, but it's not okay. So I decided to run for chapter chair, and membership did elected me for the chapter chair for Health and Hospitals. Yes. I'm also the chief shop steward at Metropolitan Hospital. And I sit in the exec board for 1549 as well with President Rodriguez. Yes. I am also a recording secretary for many, many committees, such as, yes, I don't know how I do it, but the Lord is grace. He has graced me with a lot of blessings. So I am the recording secretary for Labor Caucus, for the Joint Labor Management, for political action at DC 37, also for Logic as well. And I am a proud graduate of WALA. Woo! The Women's Leadership Academy. Yes, with my awesome classmate right here. Yes, 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 yes. One of my sisters here, and my mentor, Barbara Edmonds, that I love so much. She has guided me and has advised me in so many ways that I want to continue doing the kind of work that I'm doing now because of women that run leadership, just as Barbara Edmonds, Lillian Roberts, and many, many other women that have struggled within the unions in the labor movement. Okay. I would like to take this opportunity also to say thank you to my beautiful family, my sister, Christine, my daughter, two of my daughters are here, Jasmine and Jerry Lynn. My other sister, Jackie, I don't know where she went. Oh, there she goes. My fiance, Ivan. My grandson who's running around somewhere, Jeremiah. Yes, and I want to thank them also for accepting me in doing what I do, because basically we're never home. We're not home. We're at our work sites 8 hours. Besides that, when I leave work, since I got to get to the union, I got to run a meeting, you know, so many things that we do that we don't have time at home. And I want to thank them for allowing me to do the things that I do, because I teach my children, you must have a union job, okay? Because without a union job, management will get rid of you like this, okay? So they must have a union job and go to college, because I'm zero tolerance to no education. I'm tough. I should have been in the military, but I'm here. I'm here today. I would like to take this opportunity also to express my deepest gratitude to the scholarship committee, as well as the executive administrators, the advisory board, the faculty staff that's going to be working with me all year round for the next 2 years, and dealing with my texts and my anxiety, because I do that a lot. Right, Rose? Right, Dr. Leslie? And this Lorraine. I've known her and David since 2014-15, and they know me to start texting. I need help, I need help, I need help. And they're always there, so thank you. Yes. Again, for the faculty and for their generosity in awarding me the Joseph S. Murphy Diversity Scholarship. Now I know that is the John Reed Scholarship. Again, thank you. And I am truly honored to accept this award because I have a passion for helping fellow members, promoting the union, campaigning for improved work conditions, and engage in collective bargaining on behalf of our union members, including us ourselves, union members. My goal for the coming semesters is to give CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies my fullest dedication, maintain my GPA at its highest, and obtain my master's degree. My professional goal is to obtain a leadership position within District Council 37 or with ASME. Okay, the American Federation of the State and County Municipal Employee. My future will be based on providing knowledge to those in need while using the experience and knowledge acquired from my academic studies and union leadership. As once Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. I too have a dream. And my dream is to leave behind a legacy for others to follow. Thank you so much, everyone.
You remember the diversity the night we met?
Let me take the chairs. We're gonna say that was beautiful.
Thank you. And you're here tonight.
All right, help me take the chairs.
I please. Thank you. That was the best night of my life.
We're taking a group photo. We just need to get the chairs off of the stage. Don't run away. Don't run away. Hello? Is this on?